Good grief, I thought I turned it off.
So about a year and a half ago, I was watching the Atheist Experience with Matt Dillahunty, who hosts a show, has guests on, and they get callers, people phone in and ask questions relating to theism, God, and whatever else. And on this particular night, his guest happened to be Lloyd Evans. And I hadn't watched any of Lloyd's stuff for quite some time. I mean, his videos are, no doubt about it, there's a lot of time and effort put into the videos, and he does provide quite a lot of good information for those who feel they require that at the time. I find that they're that entertaining because they're not funny, they're not, I've got a short span of attention, so his videos aren't really that suitable to me. But this particular one, because I do enjoy the content a lot on that show, I was pretty keen to watch it, and it was a pretty good video, and I do recommend that that people watch it. I'll leave the link in the description. It goes for about an hour and a half or maybe a little bit more, and it was good, but it's very difficult and different to watch it now. It's just you're cringing at every couple of minutes, because you have that information that you have now about the guy. So what I've done is I've highlighted some things that were said by him and shortened the whole thing, so as those that aren't interested in this subject don't have to watch the whole thing. And I hope you like it.
This kind of relates to what you guys are talking about. I am in a situation where my entire family is still believing JWs. I haven't been for the longest time, and they know about it. It's just that I've had a son, and he's just a year old, and they're starting to showing JW propaganda and trying to indoctrinate him, even though I've explicitly told him that I would be against that. And I'm just not sure how to handle it.
I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I've done in that exact same situation. And just for those who are watching and don't understand what is meant by JW propaganda, they actually even have a pixel style cartoon series called Become Jehovah's Friend, starring these two children called Caleb and Sophia. And it's a series of lessons basically teaching children how to be Jehovah's Witnesses, and teaching them, for example, to give their ice cream money to Watchtower for more Kingdom Halls to be built and that kind of thing. So some really disturbing, grotesque attempts at hijacking the minds of young children, not to be taken lightly, because we know this stuff works. It certainly worked on me when I was a child, even though we didn't have the cartoons back then. So with that in mind, my wife and I were very, very firm on this with our believing in-laws. And we said, look, you try and indoctrinate our children, you don't see our children. And that basically worked. There were one or two, you could say, relapses, but for the most part, the message is now received and understood, and they know that if they try and indoctrinate Jessica being the older one, she's then going to come and tell us what she was told, and we're going to have issue with them. So they abide by that rule, and you are perfectly in a position to lay down that rule as the child's parent. Good grief, I thought I turned it off. I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I've done. And just as like a fail-safe, in case they do try and indoctrinate Jessica, she's now at an age where I've been able to sit down with her and explain in child's terms what's at stake. And the way I ended up explaining it is that there are some, you'll laugh, but this is all true, it's just explained in a child's way. There are some bad men who live in America in a forest by a lake, because that's where the headquarters are. And they have the power to control people and stop people from loving each other. And the way that you resist the power of the bad men is by asking questions. And one of the tricks that the bad men play is to say that Jehovah is going to do things to people if they don't follow them. And again, it may seem ridiculous, but hopefully when Jessica's older, almost certainly when Jessica's older, she'll get it. She'll understand.
Yeah, she'll understand, all right. she'll understand that Dad is actually one of the bad men that he was talking about.
If you're married to someone, in addition to all of that, you've also got the question of, am I going to stay married? If we stay married, given the fact that we're still young enough to have children, do we have children? How do we raise our child if one of us stays in the religion? I think I didn't get diagnosed at the time, but I think I came as close as I can think of to have
A full-blown sex addiction.
I just remember being in a very, very dark place. But fortunately, I came out of it. And
then I just found myself back in it. You know, these dark periods, they won't leave me alone.
Apart from not having Christmas, what else did you get screwed out of?
I grew up thinking that all of my schoolmates, all my school friends were going to die imminently if they didn't join my religion. And that therefore, in addition to being at school to learn, I was actually also at school to preach, to view that as my personal territory that the congregation couldn't get access to.
I don't know about you, but for me as a kid, that's definitely not what I thought about my position at school. I didn't want anyone to know that I was a Jehovah's Witness, let alone feel the responsibility to preach to them and save them. It sounds like he was a wee elder at school, the way he's talking here. And that was his mindset, I think, and it has been, and it obviously always will be.
And so you can imagine what effect that had when young Lloyd was running around saying, oh, you want to read this book?
Yeah, and what's the difference now, Lloyd?
It's a really hard struggle re-establishing that sense of community that you have as a Jehovah's Witness. It's possibly the hardest thing, the hardest challenge that you face when you're extricating yourself from the religion. But the fact that it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means that you really do have to put in time and effort.
Yeah, it's not unlike a marriage.
But there are people out there who, once they know you, will value you for who you are.
Yeah.
And will, as we said before, love you unconditionally, rather than saying, well, we'll love you if you will accept our beliefs and think the same way that we think.
I mean, look at my subscribers. I have fucked up royally, and should not be anyone that's considered a credible source of information when it comes to any moral subject. Yet, they still love me. It's fucking stupid.
So it's just a case of persevering, being patient, knowing that you're not alone, and knowing that in time you will rebuild that community that you've lost.
Now, in this next little snippet, you'll see the exact moment where Lloyd realises he does not want to be answering this caller's questions.
I think, Lloyd, you have kids.
Yeah.
So are you married?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you with your wife 24/7?
No.
No. So there are times when your wife is not with you. So how
And
do you
now,
know
as
she's
we
not
speak,
cheating?
she isn't with me.
Oh, okay. So how do you know she's not cheating on you? You don't, correct?
You don't.
You don't know that she's not cheating on you.
So he's not absolutely certain that his wife isn't cheating on him. But did you ask him? The right question to ask is, Lloyd, do you think your wife is cheating on you right now?
I have absolutely no reason to conclude that.
Yeah. He's not saying he's absolutely certain she didn't. He's not saying I believe she's not. It's that is absurd because I have nothing that would convince me that is going on. You would need to present evidence that she is cheating in order for me to believe it. And he has a track record with his wife.
Yes, Matt, he has a track record with his wife, but it's not the one you're thinking of.
Exactly.
So he has a reasonable expectation based on data from the past.
Yeah, and that expectation should be that, yes, it's probably likely that my wife is cheating on me because of my track record.
One thing that's really helped me to kind of process things is
He's leaving my family for a period of time and heading off to Thailand, somewhere like that, or to my local prostitutes.
so it's just a case of persevering, being patient, knowing that you're not alone, and knowing that in time you will rebuild that community that you've lost. Good grief, I thought I turned it off.